Do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Charles.
And I'm Kristen.
And today we're talking about Star
Trek.
Deep
Space.
Nine.
Yeah.
Slow blinks.
So, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, one of our all-time favorite shows.
There are a lot of different Star Trek shows. This is probably one of our favorites. It is from our sweet spot of Star Trek shows, which is from the late 80s to the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We're not counting Enterprise.
Enterprise is okay.
Pour one out for the homies.
And we've seen a lot of TOS, like probably all of it, and even the cartoon.
I've seen everything, every episode of Star Trek and all the movies up until Star Trek Discovery.
We enjoyed some Lower Decks.
Picard. We're going to talk about an episode of Deep Space Nine that we really like. Kristen, what is the premise of Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine was a Cardassian station that the Federation got from them, I think in the treaty to end the Cardassian occupation of Bajor. And it's right next to a wormhole. The wormhole has Bajoran significance because there are wormhole aliens that they call the Prophets. So the station is run by Commander Sisko.
Yes.
Who later becomes Captain Sisko.
Right, in season 4.
And he is chosen to be the emissary. He's like the connection between the Prophets and the Bajorans.
The space station serves as a stable kind of environment for the show, which is different from a lot of Star Trek shows. And then the other thing that Deep Space Nine kind of pioneered was serialized storytelling. At least in Star Trek, the first show to do a season-long arc or multi-season long arcs.
Yeah.
This episode is from the 3rd season.
Distant voices. Let's talk a little bit about the cast of characters. We already mentioned Benjamin Sisko.
Benjamin Sisko, played by Avery Brooks.
From God to you,
Through.
to me.
Yeah.
What happens when you die?
So the episode focuses on Dr. Julian Bashir, whom we actually named one of our cats after. Okay, so this is Bashir. You can see that his eyes are blue, like the color of Bashir's uniform.
Really, we just think that Alexander Siddig is beautiful, and this cat is as well.
Is our other cat Worf? He's got teeth like a Klingon. Mm-hmm. And then his eye color also matches Worf from Next Generation.
One of the things I wanted to mention is that Dr. Bashir is played by Alexander Siddig. In this episode, he is credited as Siddig Fadil.
So later, it was obviously shortened and then westernized.
One of the interesting things is that Alexander Siddig's uncle is Malcolm McDowell.
Of Tank Girl fame.
Of Tank Girl fame, but he famously played Alex in A Clockwork Orange, which is where the Alexander name comes from in Alexander Siddig's name. Dr. Bashir is the chief medical officer aboard the station. Mm-hmm. He's like a frontier doctor.
The other big character in this episode is Garrick, who is one of my favorite characters. And I don't really like Cardassians that much, but I like Garrick a lot. Garrick is a Cardassian. He has been exiled from the Cardassians, and he is now working as a tailor on board Deep Space Nine.
We get multiple stories of why Garrick has been exiled. Quark is the owner and operator of a bar on board Deep Space Nine.
And I think that similar to Garrick, Quark, I am not a huge Ferengi fan, but I think that Deep Space Nine did a really great job of fleshing out that culture. Quark is very Ferengi. He very much only wants to make money. Major Kira Nerys. First of all, not a visitor. I got a cameo from her for my sister. It was so sweet and so heartfelt. She is such a kind human.
Kira Nerys.
Kira Nerys is from Bajor, and she fought in the Cardassian resistance.
Yeah. She is second in command to Sisko on board. Mm-hmm. She is the liaison to the Bajorans from the Federation. I really like how this show is perfectly comfortable using the terms freedom fighter and terrorist interchangeably, because it really just depends on
context. Yeah.
Jadzia Dax is the science officer.
She's a Trill. She has a symbiont. Not every drill has a symbiont. She does. Hers is named Dax. So there have been other Daxes, and there are other Daxes later, but this one is Jadzia.
There's Odo. Odo is the chief of security on board the ship. He is more of a, they call him constable a lot. He's more of the, like, chief of police on board the ship. And he's a changeling, which means he's a shapeshifter. Special effects are amazing. He sleeps in a bucket. We don't really need to get into changeling stuff this episode, but it's one of the coolest parts of Deep Space Nine.
And then we also have Chief Miles O'Brien, who becomes Bashir's best friend. I don't know if they're quite best friends yet, but their relationship as best friends is super cute.
It is super cute. He's the holdover from Next Generation. He was the transporter chief.
Yep.
And so he was sort of the bridge character between the two shows until Worf showed up.
Season 3, Episode 18, Distant Voices. It starts out with Bashir having lunch with Garrick, which they do often.
Dr. Bashir's 30th birthday is coming up. Garrick gives him a holosuite program.
I thought you enjoyed mystery novels.
I do. Human mystery novels. The trouble with Cardassian Enigma tales is that they all end the same way. All the suspects are always guilty.
Yes, but the challenge is determining exactly who is guilty of what.
Bashir's also very testy about turning 30.
And look, Garrick, in 2 days I turn 30. If I choose to be grumpy about it, that's my prerogative.
By all means, Doctor, be as grumpy as you like.
Well, thank you for the support.
And then Quark comes over.
Yay, Quark.
We love Quark, but Quark always has some shady deals going on. And he's got a shady alien with him. And the alien wants to procure some biomimetic gel, which is apparently a no-go.
This episode won an Emmy for makeup.
Okay, yeah, the makeup, well...
No, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to know as we move forward.
I think the alien makeup is terrific.
Fantastic alien makeup.
Bashir refuses to help him, says no, and sends them on their way. So Bashir goes back to sickbay, and he sees the alien Altavar, and then he, attacks Bashir with lightning bolts around his head. So Bashir passes out. We get the intro song, which is beautiful.
What is your favorite Star Trek intro song? Mine's Voyager.
I was going to say Voyager. Yeah. So Bashir wakes up in sickbay. He's completely alone. Everything, the lights are flickering. Things are messed up. He tries to contact anybody, and he can't get a hold of anyone. So he decides to leave sickbay and go out onto the promenade. There's, for some reason, a mirror set up, and he sees that he's starting to gray.
Yes.
And then he is distracted because he hears something coming from Quark's.
Usually Deep Space Nine is packed full of people, and the promenade especially, it's the main hub of the station. It's like a marketplace. There's nobody there.
It's all right. It's me, Bashir. Okay, what is it? What's going on? Tell me.
He's going to kill us. He's going to kill us all.
Who are you so afraid of? Where's Cisco? What happened to the rest of the crew? Why don't you come with me? We'll go and try to find them.
No.
One of the things I really appreciate is that Quark hisses and bares his fangs.
It's like scared cat behavior.
Yeah, I just really like that.
Eventually, though, he does decide to get up and run away.
Bashir yells, "Show yourself!" And then a bench is thrown from the darkness, which is not showing yourself.
He walks back out onto the promenade, and he sees that, replicators are malfunctioning, things are still weird. He hears something coming from the security office.
Garrick!
Doctor, what are you doing here?
I was about to ask you the same question.
I was looking for Constable Odo. Everyone on the station seems to have disappeared.
Not everyone. I just saw Quark cowering behind his bar. He believes that someone is terrorizing the station, and I'm not sure I disagree with him.
I really like that immediately when he is with Garrick, they are able to, coordinate, create a plan. Garrick is, competent and helpful.
Wait. Do you hear that?
Hear what?
That sound. It's like voices whispering.
I don't hear anything. But then Cardassian hearing is not quite as acute as humans.
Look, Garrick, we haven't got time for this. We've got to find out what's going on here.
I agree. Perhaps we should split up. I can search the docking ring while you look around the habitat ring and the central core.
We see Bashir searching the habitat ring where like the crew quarters and stuff are.
Right.
When all of a sudden the lights start going off like down the hall slowly towards him, and he can hear whatever the thing is.
Yes.
Takes off running.
He gets into a turbo lift, right? Mm-hmm. And then as he's riding down the turbo lift, the thing is banging on the roof of the turbo lift.
The doors open. He steps out and he hears not the whispering, but different voices down the hall.
Maybe I would.
I say we do nothing until we get reinforcements from
Julian,
Bashir.
there you are. Where have you been?
Looking for you.
In trouble.
And we
Well,
can't
I'm
tell
glad
them
you're
unless
here.
you get the communication system back online. It'll take hours. Too many systems have been sabotaged. All my work crews are missing, and I cannot make new parts until we get the replicators fixed.
The first thing we need to do is neutralize the Lethian.
The Lethian. You mean Altovar?
You know him.
We've met. He attacked me in the infirmary.
Oh, well, now he's trying to kill us all by destroying the station.
But it seems like whoever directed this episode gave them all the exact same direction, which is like...
Be irritable.
Be irritable.
There's a computer processing junction near here. I might be able to repair the internal sensors from there. But I'm not going alone.
Oh, what a surprise.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not letting you out of my sight.
We'll all go together.
O'Brien manages to get an audio signal in. We hear Commander Sisko, Dax, and a nurse all talking about how Bashir is in some sort of a coma.
And unless we can get him out of it, he'll be dead in less than 3 hours.
So if you're in a coma and we're not real, then what are we doing here?
Well, maybe we're just here to give him someone to talk to.
A paranoid, a coward, a hothead, and me?
You all embody different aspects of my personality, different voices.
Odo is his paranoia, O'Brien is his doubt, Dax is his confidence, and Kira is his aggression. The 4 parts of the human mind.
And well, I think while he's having that realization, Dax is just taken by
Oh,
the
yeah.
alien. They're called Lethians. He tries to run after her, but all of a sudden he's back on the promenade and he's playing tennis with Garrick.
It's a pity about Lieutenant Dax.
How'd you know about her?
I'm a part of you, remember? I know what you know. Well, maybe a little more.
Still the man of mystery.
Oh, you wouldn't have me any other way.
I have to get the main computer back online.
And then you'd better get to ops. If there are repairs to be done, that's the place to do them.
24 minutes into the episode, the concept of tennis is introduced, and it becomes very important. Dr. Bashir is on his way to ops, but he encounters a corridor filled with injured people. But then he sees Captain Sisko. This is our Captain Sisko appearance for the episode.
She's suffering cranial trauma. Treat the fracture with an osteogenic stimulator, and then follow it up with 2 cc's of
Pedrazine.
How did you know that?
Just doing my job.
You represent my professionalism and my skill.
I'm flattered.
Come on. You got to come with me to ops.
And is immediately
got.
he's yoinked through a wall. After running away, he finds the dead body of Kira, and then he finds a nearly dead Odo. Odo's upper torso is still solid, but his like bottom half is liquid.
Odo, with his dying words, tells him to go to the conduits. They're his only hope.
Use the conduits. They're your best chance.
Now, my family had a running joke about Star Trek where they would always disappear into the Jeffries tubes to get away from aliens.
Chief. Julian. What the hell are you doing here?
I've got to get to ops.
You'll never make it.
Look at you.
You look like you've got 1 foot in the grave already.
I'll tell you something. I like the real Chief better than you.
Mind if I come along?
Thought you said I didn't have a chance.
Well, I'm hoping I was wrong.
So am I.
And they end up back on the promenade again, and they hear another ruckus coming from Quark's.
Yeah, I actually thought we were seeing a Ferengi death ritual.
The house is covering all bases.
What if I want to bet that I will survive?
It's a long shot.
Uh-oh. It looks like all bets are off.
and he runs away. He falls and apparently breaks his hip. Garrick helps him up and is like, I don't think there's much point in you trying, but I guess if you want to get to Ops, we can try again. He finally makes it to Ops, and when the doors open, there's a random lady that I've never seen in any other episode.
Nope.
That starts singing happy birthday to him, and I love that Garrick just like joins in. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Garrick, get me over to the engineering station. Now.
He keeps trying to open panels. He keeps getting dumped on by tennis balls for some reason.
Yes. My tennis balls.
Oh, this station is in worse condition than we thought.
That doesn't sound like the Garrick I know.
We've been through this, Doctor. I'm not Garrick. I'm you.
Well, it doesn't sound like me either.
And it reminded me, I had to look it up, but my mom said that Captain Kangaroo would always get dumped on by ping pong balls.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
And we find out that Garrick
Is actually the Lethian.
Bum, bum, bum.
There's a great 2-shot of them in profile where Garrick is like hard keyed out and you can tell something's about to happen to him.
Now, the Lethian's whole goal is to torture Bashir to the point where he no longer wishes to keep fighting for his own life. What does he hit him with?
He hits him with the most traumatic parts of Dr. Bashir's life. He hits him with the fact that he wanted to be a tennis star but instead became a very successful doctor.
I love medicine.
But you love tennis more.
He hits him with the fact that he could have been top of his class.
You should have been first in your class. What went wrong?
I made a mistake.
He's not pursuing the uninterested woman in his life hard enough.
Then let's talk about Lieutenant Dax. You like her, don't you?
It must be deeply frustrating to the Lethian to be rifling through the files in his mind to find his deepest shame.
And he's just like, okay, so he's afraid of getting older. That's basically everybody. He wanted to play tennis, but didn't.
Second in his class. Maybe.
Sounds like you choked on a test, bro. Get over it. But I love that he has to like commit to it. And I just love that his voice, like,
it's so
trying to be
intense.
so serious, talking about tennis.
But you love tennis more.
But you love tennis more. And he's just like a Power Ranger bad guy.
Yeah.
I love it. Bashir like hobbles away and decides to go back to sickbay.
Yeah. He manages to trick the Lethian into standing in a specific spot in sickbay.
You can't do this.
I can do anything I want. It is my mind. Begin sterilization.
He wakes up refreshed by the lack of prosthetics on his face.
Absolutely.
And then the very final scene is him having lunch with Garrick again, telling him the whole story.
And what I find interesting is how your mind ended up casting me in the role of the villain.
Oh, I wouldn't read too much into that, Garrick.
Oh, how can I not? There's hope for you yet, Doctor.
This episode has a lot of things I really love about Star Trek. Hilarious Star Trek old man makeup. It has all the characters I like. I really like the amount of acting that Alexander Siddig gets to do. All right, that was the episode.
That was the whole episode?
That was the entire episode.
I can't believe we're already done. Anyway, thanks for watching Slow Blinks, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Cool.
Okay. We did it.
Bro. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.